Good afternoon. My name is Mike White. I'm with Vision33, and I'm a solution consultant who will be showing you the V33 Ship extension for SAP Business One. I'll be showing this on a 9.3 SAP Business One running on the HANA database. To get things running, let's first take a one-slide overview of what the V33 Ship add-on can do for your business. The first thing is it has a real easy setup. One of the cool things about V33 Ship is it can be set up and running literally in just a few hours, and you're getting a return on investment on the product. So in the administration setup of V33 Ship, this is where you can define additional shipping and handling fees, and they could be on a per package basis, they could be on a total ship basis, or a value of what's being shipped. So you have some options there in adding handling fees per shipment or per package. This is also where you can enable real-time address validation. We'll take a look at that, as well, of course, as user security, who can actually use this extension and who can't. Then V33 Ship also adds some features inside of the business partner. The ability to perform address validation from within the business partner, the ability to define carrier and customer account numbers for those carriers when the customer pays for shipping. Then in the quote, order, and delivery, there's a new tab added. And what this allows you to do is set up things like cash on delivery, provide for shipping insurance, establish the declared value, generate the shipping labels. And then optionally, you can import that shipping detail back into those documents. But you don't have to. You can later use batch billing and generate freight invoices to your customers, and we'll take a look at that as well. Then you can view the shipping details from these documents, and with a hot link back to the shipping provider. When you turn a delivery into an AR invoice, if you imported those shipping costs back into the delivery, or the order or the quote, and it carries through the delivery, then they'll be on the AR invoice. There's no need to run batch billing. But it's not uncommon to rate shop, calculate the freight, generate the labels, ship products, but not necessarily bring those shipping costs back into the documents. That's when you would use the batch billing process. And so it's very comparable to the document generation wizard, and we'll also take a look at that. The V33 Ship extension is